People on the state pension and certain benefits should be able to calculate how much their payments will rise next April, according to money expert, Martin Lewis. The consumer champion told BBC Radio 5 Live listeners that the newly announced Consumer Price Index, CPI, inflation rate of 6.7% for September now completes all measures needed for the triple lock policy. He explained that September is a very important inflation month because it dictates one of those triple lock features on the state pension. Under the triple lock, the state pension increases each year in line with whichever is the highest between average annual earnings growth from May to July, 8.5%, CPI inflation in the year to September, 6.7%, or 2.5%. He also clarified that by law, disability benefits, incapacity benefits and carers allowance, will rise by the September CPI figure of 6.7%, however, benefits such as universal credit might not. Martin said, inflation is lower than average earnings for the relevant period, so it's likely we now know that it will be based on average earnings, unless the government decides to change things. So the rise will be over 8% next April. But the other thing September's inflation figures usually dictates is how much the rise in benefits will be next year. Now, these come into a couple of categories. He explained, there are things like disability benefits, incapacity benefits and carers allowance, which by law, rise each year in line with September's CPI inflation, so 6.7%. So they will be going up unless Parliament changes the law, of course, but that is unlikely to happen. However, he added that the UK government could operate other benefits using a different figure. He said, the other benefits traditionally go up in line with the CPI inflation, but the government has discretion not to do so, and that would be the big one like universal credit and many of the other legacy benefits that are similar. If things went as they normally do, that would mean next April, those on benefits would see a 6.7% increase. Now the hope is next April inflation will be lower, so at that point it will feel like an above-inflation increase, but of course you had the whole of last year's inflation to cope with in the meantime. But there is still government discretion over that, so it may not happen, but at least we now know the figure that they have to decide whether they're increasing it with or not, which is 6.7%. You can listen to the Martin Lewis podcast on BBC Sounds here. Estimated payment rates from April. The estimated calculations below have been done by the Daily Record and are not confirmed. They should only be used as an informal guide on how much state pension and benefit payments could increase next April. All pay rates have been calculated using the UK government rounding policy. State pensions under the triple lock rule. State pensions should rise by the earnings growth figure of 8.5%, with employee bonuses. However, there has been speculation over recent weeks that it may be uprated using the 7.8% figure instead. This excludes employee bonuses. Chancellor Jeremy Hunt will confirm the state pension operating during the autumn statement in Parliament on November 22. New state pension. The full, new state pension is currently worth £203.85 per week. Operating using the lower wages growth figure, 7.8%, would see people receive £219.75 each week, while under the 8.5% figure it would be £221.20. Basic state pension. Those on the maximum basic state pension would see payments rise from the current £156. 20 a week to £168.40 under an uprating of 7.8% and £169.50 with 8.5% disability benefits. As Martin Lewis explained above, by law, all disability benefits should increase by 6.7% next April. Devolved benefits are also expected to rise in line with the Department for Work and Pensions, DWP, to prevent a two-tier benefits system. Personal Independence Payment, PIP, and Adult Disability Payment, ADP, an uprating of 6.7% would see people on PIP or ADP receive Daily Living Component Standard Rate, £72.70 from £68.10, Enhanced Rate, £108.60 from £101.75, Mobility Component Standard Rate, £28.70 from £26.90, Enhanced Rate, £75.75, £71, Weekly Payments Minimum PIP/ADP per week, £28.70, £114.80 per 4-week pay period, Maximum PIP/ADP per week, £184.35, $737.40 per 4-week pay period, Disability Living Allowance for children, Child Disability Payment Care Component lowest, £28.70, from £26.90, middle, £72.70, from £68.10, highest, £108.60, from £101.75, Mobility Component lower, £28.70, from £26.90, higher, £75.75, from £71.00, Weekly Payments Minimum per week, £28.70, £114.80 per 4-week pay period, Maximum per week, £184.35, $737.40 per 4-week pay period, Attendance Allowance. People over state pension age claiming attendance allowance currently receive either £68.10, lower rate, or £101.75, higher rate, each week. As the benefit is usually paid every 4 weeks, this amounts to either £272.40 or £407 every payment period. An uprating of 6.7% would see attendance allowance claimants receive either £72.70, lower rate, or £108.60, higher rate, each week. This amounts to either £290.80 or £434.40 every pay period. Get the latest Record Money news. Join the conversation on our Money Saving Scotland Facebook group for energy and money saving tips, the latest benefits news, consumer help and advice on coping with the cost of living crisis. Sign up to our Record Money newsletter and get the top stories sent to your inbox daily from Monday to Friday, including a special cost of living edition on a Thursday. Sign up here. You can also follow us on X, formerly Twitter, at @RecordMoney_ for regular updates throughout the day. Carers Allowance. People claiming carers allowance currently receive £76.75 each week, or £307 every 4-week pay period. An uprating of 6.7% would see weekly payments rise to £81.90, or £327.60 each pay period. Join the Daily Records WhatsApp community here and get the latest news sent straight to your messages.